Okay. Good morning. We are recording today's service and we'll turn it off for a community gathering after the service. And now let us calm our minds and hearts with our musical prelude.
Since we have UU members talking about their journey as Unitarian Universalists, I thought it would be appropriate today to play music of Unitarian or Universalist composers. And I found a website from a church in the East Coast that listed Bela Bartok. So he became a Unitarian in 1916, Hungarian composer.
Thank you, Barbara. A wonderful choice as usual. Summit Unitarian Universalist Fellowship welcomes those of all faiths, beliefs, and those of none. We favor orthopraxy over orthodoxy, correct action over correct belief. We aspire to the shared principles intentionally drawn from world religion, humanist teachings, nature, science, philosophy, and personal practices. The mission of Summit is to commit ourselves to building a more compassionate, just, and sustainable world. Today's service is by the Welcoming and Membership Committee of Summit. I'm Jim Weed, one of the co-chairs of the committee. The mission statement of the Welcoming and Membership Committee is to lead the fellowship in promoting and maintaining a welcoming environment for members and visitors. The three members from the committee speaking are Carol Lagarde, Nancy Merrill, and Patton Williams, who is the other co-chair. They will be sharing different aspects of being not only being a Unitarian Universalist, but what it means to be a member of Summit. Now I'm going to do our land acknowledgement. For more than 10,000 years, the Kumeyaay people have lived in harmony with this land. Fishers and hunters, farmers and artisans, chemists, physics, astrologers, and marine biologists. We acknowledge our fellowship resides on unceded Kumeyaay land, which continues to be home to the Kumeyaay people. I strongly advise people to visit the Verona Cultural Center and Museum in Lakeside. Currently showing is the creation story of the Kumeyaay artifacts, some of them dating over 10,000 years, research library and seed library, and guided tours. They also have an outreach programs where they come to you. I enjoyed my visit there when it first opened and would like to see how it's grown since then in the near future. I ride by there on a regular basis on my motorcycle, and unfortunately it's often on a day that they're closed, so I'm just gonna have to schedule my motorcycle ride on a day they're open. Okay, so now we're gonna do our child sliding. 1-0. We meet as members of a spiritual community. We covenant to engage each other with kindness and courage and love. We light this chalice as a symbol of our community, our covenant, and our faith. Now, please stand if you are able to sing our UU hymn and then say our UU aspiration.
Take total follow pilgrim soul, serve off the thrones of faith above, and
So Margot, are you going to do the reading? Okay, great. Margot is another member of the welcoming committee as well.
As many of you know, I have a passion for poetry. I think it's the language of the soul. And we talked about this with the group, but I chose one of my favorite poets, Mary Oliver's poem today, Wild Geese, because I think it really addresses everything we are about as a community, our individual journeys and our collective seeking belonging. Wild geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
Now please stand as you are able to sing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots holding close, wings set it free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
And now time for all ages with Mary Carter Vale.
Hello.
Hello, Mary.
You still have your heart, I see.
I still have my heart
Yay.
and my buggy. For those of you who haven't been here, it's lovely to see so many of you here in person. I love it. So wonderful. Yay. Yay. So for those of you who may not know, last week was my first week having my wheels here. I am going to be having surgery in a month for hip arthritis. I'm getting hip replacement. Yay. Yay that we can replace things that aren't working as well. Getting new parts, so yay. And this is just so that I can not be slowed down too much, because those of you that know me know I move around a lot. So this is the last Sunday in February. We've been exploring the theme of love all month. This isn't our last Sunday of love at Summit, though, because love is all the time, because love is what we do here, right? Right. So today I wanted to talk to you about wholehearted love, wholehearted. So if you remember, I began with a ball of yarn, and we tossed it around, and we talked about how love is a thing that we sort of come here seeking, and it kind of connects us all. And then I talked about how I had to work on practicing self-love. And I encourage us all to practice self-love, and I'm going to do it again. Hug yourself. Let's give us some self-love.
Yay.
Give yourself a hug. And then I talked about family love and about how we can all practice the platinum rule, about how we're learning how to be loving with each other by asking each other, how do you want to be loved? Yeah, how can we love each other? You know? And then the final one is wholehearted love. And like, how do we bring love in community with each other? How do we bring our whole heart into community? And today I have a feeling that the folks who are going to share are going to be talking about how they bring their whole heart to this community and offering us an invitation to bring our whole heart. So many of you do already. So many of you do. And so many of you have in the past. And maybe this is an invitation to some of you maybe to just dip your toe in a little deeper, or an invitation to try something new. So what does it mean to bring your whole heart into something? I don't know what that means for you, but I can tell you what it means for me. What it means for me is sometimes it means to just be quiet for a minute and to listen to where I find joy. So this morning, for example, several people have commented on my purple. I love purple. I think purple's a wonderful, fun color. When I go to a crayon box, I will look for the purple. I'll look for the sparkles. I will look for the fun colors and the textures. If I'm going to the fabric store, I'm going to look for the things that are velvety and that feel fun. Even when I was a kid, I would look for the textures that I wanted to touch. And my mom would be saying, oh, don't be touching everything. Don't be touching everything. But everything felt lovely to touch, right? And that would make my heart feel joyful. And I would feel the joy. And that was like my way of leaning into what was, whoa, pushing the button, turn you off, thank you. Getting used to this thing, it wants to go places. So leaning into where am I finding my joy, right? And for me, it was feeling things and doing things with my hands. So for crocheting was a place. Cooking is a place for me. Many of you have expressed my love of, what's one of the way I share my love is through food. And I know there's some people in this room that do that. They share their love through food. But that's not everybody's love language, right? Not everybody shares their love that way. Some people do it through poetry. Margot was talking about that. Some people through music. Barbara shares her beautiful music with us. Some people do it by helping to organize things, like organizing a service and helping to put all those parts together. Amy comes and helps me to organize all the crafty stuff. I collect all the things, and Amy helps me make sense of them. You know? So we all have ways of bringing our whole heart to a community and to the love that the community needs. Now, I don't know if you've noticed our kids hanging around the piano. You guys are really enjoying the piano, right? Yeah. They've discovered the piano this month, and that exploring what that beautiful instrument does. And the love that that instrument has brought to this community. I've been thinking about it, about Ed Davis and who else? There's two names on there. Who are the names on there, Barbara, who donated the piano? It's Ed and I can't remember the other name. Elaine, and Richard. Richard, Elaine, and Ed, who blessed this community with that beautiful instrument and how it rings out and shares love every single week. And that we pay money for the tuning and the care of it and the musicians who play with it. I know Laurel makes sure that it's in tune and just, yes, not lately, but it still sounds pretty darn good, right? So the wholehearted love that runs throughout this community. And I just wanted to take a moment to just really think about that. And I think it's something that we don't always notice because it's not tangible. It's not something we budget for, right? It's not something we plan for. It's not something that needs repair, although sometimes it does. It's not something you can quantify. But it is the most important resource that we have. Wholehearted love. So I encourage all of you to reach inside and find your wholehearted love, be it at Summit or beyond, and nurture it and love it and recognize it for the beauty that it bestows with you and beyond. So find your wholehearted love. And if it's purple, wonderful. And if it's not, that's great too, because it's perfect the way it is. So that is my story for you. And my purple heart will be back in RE. If you need a hug, it's always there. And after the service today, our families are gathering for a baked potato lunch. And we're going to be talking about planning our future for RE because we're looking at what's next. So anybody's welcome to join us who would like to. So, and here's our children's affirmation, or actually our whole community affirmation. So join me if you'd like. We are Unitarian Universalists, a people of open minds, loving hearts, and helping hands. And now I'm going to head back to RE for the kids. We're making chili. We're going to learn the love language of food. And then we will be back there. Anybody who would like to join me is welcome to come back. And I hope you enjoy the service. So thank you all. And I am going to try to make my way off the stage without having an accident. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can get this work. All right. Thank you. Woo, wrong way. Still learning to drive. There we go. 6-point turn. Woo! Woohoo!
All right, now we're just going to have a short meditation. So I'm going to time it so we don't spend too much time up here. All right, just settle back, relax in your seat, and take it. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And I welcome you to take a big, deep breath Big deep breath in. And then slowly let it all out. Let your shoulders sink. Let your body relax as you breathe out. One more deep breath in. All the way in and out. Relax. I welcome you to just take these few moments to try and stop the steady flow of thoughts that keep us concerned with what's going to happen in the next few minutes later today, ruminations about our lives. Just let it go, just for a few minutes. Just rest right here while we breathe. Just your normal breathing pattern. In, I breathe in. Out, I know I'm breathing out. I breathe in, I breathe out. Just rest right here. As you breathe in, you can feel the energy coming into your body, maybe the coolness of the air coming in through your nostrils. And as you let that air out, you can just feel the relaxation in your muscles. Feel the tingling in your hands. Perhaps you can feel the weight of your feet on the floor or your body against the chair. Just breathing in and out, just for now, nothing more. And then to end things, I'd just like to quote from Rumi. The inspiration you seek is already within you. Just be silent and listen. The inspiration you seek is already in you. Be silent and listen. All right, thank you.
And now, 3 members from our committee will share their reflections.
Hi, I'm Nancy Merrill. Good morning. When the Welcoming and Membership Committee was planning this service, committee co-leader Pam Williams suggested that someone give a talk from the heart about Summit. I jumped at the opportunity to do this. As I wrote my speech, it evolved. There's something I've had a burning desire to talk about for a long time, and I decided that what I really wanted to talk about is Summit's heroes. You might ask, what does this have to do with love? Summit is all about love. There are so many members who, because of their love of Summit and the people in it, are working hard to keep our fellowship going. I can't possibly list them all here, but I would like to point out just a few of the people and committees who are making significant contributions. Everything the Caring Committee does is an act of love. The members of this committee keep in contact with those who are ill or disabled. They take people to medical appointments, deliver groceries and meals, and provide other important services to our members in need. The Caring Committee has been chaired by Janet Dixon for the last 15 years. Pam Kerr's beautiful and comprehensive e-news keeps us all informed of Summit's activities. Pam has been emailing the e-news to the entire congregation every week for 14 years. And for a more in-depth description of Summit's activities, check out the monthly newsletter, The Scene at Summit, written by longtime member and our board president, Eleanor Weed. The link to The Scene at Summit can be found in the e-news. Juana Page is not in the congregation today because she is, as she always has been on Sundays. Oh, she's here? Hi, Juana. Okay, well, I assumed you wouldn't be here, but I thought you might. That's great. Because she is, as she... Oh, great, great. Because she is, as she always has been on Sundays for the last decade, in the salon preparing refreshments. How we love to go to the salon after the service for healthy snacks and to visit with our friends. Mark Weedman has been Summit's property steward for 15 years. He was here almost every day during COVID, keeping up the grounds and making sure our complex was secure. Mark is also helping to guide us through this time while we are searching for a new minister. Our pianists, Karen Fallingstad and Barbara Scheidker, give us beautiful music every Sunday to soothe our souls. We see familiar faces every week who are ushers at the services, service associates who help guide us through the Sunday services, and helpers in the salon. The hard-working Summit Board keeps us on the right path according to UU principles. The Welcoming and Membership Committee greets new people and helps shepherd them while they consider becoming members. The Sunday Service Committee does a wonderful job of putting our services together. I have really enjoyed the sermons given by visiting ministers and members of the congregation. And we couldn't have sound, video, or Zoom at our Sunday services if it wasn't for our talented tech team. The choir is coming back to sing joyful music to us. How I love to listen to the choir. The auction volunteers, excuse me, did the exhaustive work of bringing us the auction, which was so much fun and a great fundraiser for Summit. Some of our members make large donations to Summit's fund every month to help keep our fellowship going. Having a minister is important to us. The Ministerial Search Committee, working with UUA, is doing the important work of finding a new minister, and they are making good progress. I would like to read to you an excerpt from an article written by this committee that appeared in the February The Scene at Summit. After reviewing all applications, we have completed Zoom interviews with our top candidates. The results of these interviews are very encouraging, and we are optimistic we will be able to fill our vacancy with an outstanding candidate. All of the candidates commented particularly on the quality of our RE program as a reason they are interested in us. We hope to be able to recommend our top choice to Summit's board by the end of March. The last time I spoke from this podium a few years before COVID, I was looking out at a congregation of 150 people. The pandemic robbed us of 2.5 years of the togetherness that we cherish. As we recover from the isolation and fear of COVID, my wish is that participation will increase. I encourage you all to get involved. There are so many interesting and rewarding activities going on here. A good place to start is to attend the in-person services in the sanctuary. We are all very grateful for the members whose tireless efforts are keeping Summit thriving. Their dedication is amazing. It's all about love. Thanks for listening.
All right, tough act to follow, Nancy. My daughter Erica came home from school one day and said to me, "I can't play with the Ouija board anymore. Jessica says it's a sin against God." Erica was in 3rd grade, and Jessica was Erica's best friend and lived in a family of fundamentalist Christians. Now, Jessica was a sweet girl, but this wasn't the first time she had lectured Erica about her sinful behavior. Although Erica's father and I talked with her about our more secular beliefs and the fact that there are other ways of looking at right and wrong, 8-year-old Jessica was very persuasive. I needed help. So I started taking Erica to the RE program at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder, and she loved it. She made new friends with whom she learned about differing views on God and religion, to be open-minded and to be kind and compassionate with herself and with others. We stayed at the UU Church of Boulder through her high school years. So while Erica was in RE, I attended the Sunday services. I was new to the Unitarian Church. I enjoyed those services, but I sat in the sanctuary and cried every week while we sang the hymn, Spirit of Life. It's the words, roots hold me close, wings set me free. They just set me off. Singing these words, I felt a deep longing for connection with others, for understanding my own purpose, and the desperately longed for freedom from my self-imposed limitations. What was it about this place, this Unitarian Universalist religion, that kept me coming back? Well, it was a variety of things. I was not raised in a particularly religious family. I occasionally attended Sunday services with my dad at a Presbyterian church. I joined the youth group. I tried for years to truly believe in Christianity, but just couldn't. I expect that getting my master's degree in anthropology and subsequently working in anthropology and archaeology didn't help this quest. As the scientific study of human culture, anthropology opened my eyes to the wide diversity of beliefs and religious practices around the world. How could I believe that there was only one true faith, that those who did not embrace that faith were doomed to eternal suffering? Then there was the focus on a year-long theme for services at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder, chosen by our minister, Reverend Kirk Kuwald, which was derived from Mary Oliver's poem, A Summer's Day. Many of you know the poem. It's about spending the day strolling through a field, paying close attention to nature. It closes with the words, "Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" So that was the theme for the year. What is your plan? What is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? Then on September 11th, 2001, suicide attackers seized 3 U.S. passenger jets, crashed them into 2 New York skyscrapers. I was jolted awake. I felt like I was letting precious time slip away, living an unfulfilled life. I needed to make changes. My husband and I eventually went our separate ways. I took a new job in Washington, D.C., and began practicing mindfulness meditation and also attending UU services at the All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church in Washington, D.C. This is where I met and fell in love with Charlie Barrett, my partner, who's still here with me, and together we continue to practice both mindfulness meditation and attend the services here at Summit. I like the way Reverend J. Mark Worth of Harvard Unitarian Universalist Church described being a UU in a sermon in 2019. He says, "Some of us practice Christian prayer, some of us practice Buddhist meditation, some of us practice yoga, and some of us don't. But none of us claims that there is only one true religion, not even Unitarian Universalism. No person, no preacher, no guru, no book, no church has a monopoly on all religious truth. All religions are human attempts to deal with the dual reality of being alive and knowing that someday we will die. And we love life. We cherish and respect our planet Earth. We appreciate and celebrate the fact that all life is interconnected. Because we want life to flourish, we are committed to compassion and justice. Because we are imperfect people, we sometimes fall short in our ideals. Yet on the whole, we think we have a pretty good record of advocating for fairness and justice and are doing our best to live up to these values in our own lives." The Reverend goes on to say, "We accept our human responsibility for social evils and do not pass the buck to God's will. We are responsible for our lives and our planet. We believe in reason, freedom, moral living, compassion, and justice. Our faith is rooted in this life, this world, and it lets the mystery beyond this existence remain a mystery." Being Unitarian Universalists, we share covenants that are about how we will treat one another, not creeds that expect us to always agree on the fine points of theology. And this faith allows us to change and grow in our beliefs as members of a loving community. This is what I love about this community. This is what makes me feel like I belong. I'm a member of the Unitarian Universalist Association and Summit UUF because it is a place that welcomes those who question authority, who care for the planet and for the lives of others, and that want to contribute to the fight to eliminate inequality and injustice, and to do this from a place of love. Siding with love. My daughter Erica is now 35 years old. She's still friends with Jessica, but she tells me that most of her closest friends to this day are those she met at the UU Church of Boulder and in the larger UU community. They've stayed close over the years and support one another in life's difficulties, and even though Erica does not attend UU services anymore, she carries with her the teachings and values she learned at the UU Church of Boulder. My wish for her is that she will someday find a caring, supportive spiritual community like Charlie and I have here at Summit. I would love to see more young adults and more people from differing cultural backgrounds share in our spiritual journey. If we can continue to grow as a congregation, such new and diverse voices would help us better understand the world we live in, the needs of this world, and how we as Unitarian Universalists can live up to our UU principles and values. Thank you.
I don't know about you, but since I came into this room, I have felt the love. We, as members and friends of Summit Fellowship, we are the members and friends of Summit Fellowship. What does it mean to be a member of this community? It is very easy to become a member of Summit, attend an orientation, and sign the membership book. That is the formal process. But I have learned that there is more to it. Yes, it is important that we are not required to profess to a creed. But what do we believe? In our efforts to define what we believe, we have adopted statements that reflect our core values, and we try to live by them. Our fellowship has a mission statement. In spiritual community, we commit ourselves to building a compassionate, just, and sustainable world. We profess to live by our UU principles and purposes. And in my talk, I said, found on the back of our order of service. But today, we don't have them on the back of our order of service. But if you go to the email that you received this morning, they are there. I won't take the time, because I don't have that much time, to read them all to you, but there are 8 principles. And we have a covenant of right relations, which states, in practicing our Unitarian Universal principles and purposes, and with love as our guide, we covenant to welcome the newcomer, encourage and support one another, honor our diversity, ask questions with an open mind and heart, listen deeply and seek understanding, speak and act compassionately, trust one another to remain in community while differences are resolved. This is our covenant of right relations. Will we complete our mission, or always live up to our principles and purposes, or always act in covenant? I'm afraid that we are human and will fall short. But that doesn't let us off the hook. These are what we value and reflect our ethics and call for us to strive toward reaching them. And even though we fall short, we must not give up. These statements are not just words, but they reflect who we are. You might have noticed that our covenant of right relations was going to be the subject of my talk. Although I have been drawn down a different path, I still feel that this statement is even more important as we continue to be lay-led. My point in calling attention to our statements of belief and purposes is for us to try to keep them in mind as we proceed in our busy lives. But are these statements our creed and never to be changed? In my exploration for this talk, I had searched the UUA website, uua.org. I had come across a proposed change to Article 2 of our UUA bylaws. The image on the screen and at the bottom of our order of service is the proposed change. For those of you that are unaware, this proposed change will replace our principles and purposes. Yes, this is a very significant change and will not occur lightly. A commission was called in 2020 to review and recommend changes to Article 2, which contains our principles and purposes. This process was called for in another section of the bylaws. Our UUA bylaws are not static, but are allowed to change with our changing world. The Commission has worked responsibly over the last 3 years and has solicited and received thousands of responses to their work. The Commission's report is now submitted for consideration at this coming General Assembly, and if it passes a majority vote, it will go forward for a final vote at the 2024 General Assembly. In this final vote, a 2/3 majority will be required. If finally approved, this statement of core values will replace our principles and purposes. Look at the image more closely. The Commission has placed love at the center. The Commission has surrounded love with 6 one-word statements that they think describe our core values. The Commission noted that love was not mentioned in our principles and purposes. They felt that love should be our driving force, and they have placed it at the center. For myself, although I support placing love as the heart of our values, I need more time and thought to explore these 6 one-word statements that the Commission believes describes our core values. Anyway, I don't have time today to go further. I decided to use part of my time today to just call this change to your attention and hopefully begin a discussion among us. Remember, these words are an attempt to describe who we are and what we believe. I encourage you to go to uua.org and read more about Article 2's proposed change. And look forward this spring to an opportunity to join with other cemeterians in a discussion of this proposal. I leave you with this final thought. We, as members, congregations, and as a denomination, search for truth and meaning in our lives. We don't come up with final answers, and we are open to change. This process isn't easy, but by joining in, I believe we become better human beings. Thank you.
Excuse me. I just want to thank all the speakers today. And Carol, my introduction to the Unitarian Universalism was much like yours. My family, my mom and dad, lived in a neighborhood with a lot of conservative Christians, Catholics, and were looking for an alternative. So they found the first church in Hillcrest in the early 1960s. And I'm still here now. I'm very thankful for that. For those that don't know, I met Eleanor at First Church. So now it's time for our offertory. If someone is a valued community in your life, please support us by making an offering today. Our Zoomers at home are invited to contribute to our virtual plate. The link can be found in the chat box. And we also want to acknowledge our volunteers of time and talent. It truly takes all of us, as you've kind of heard already today. Now we will gratefully accept your generous donations during the musical interlude.
I wanted to share that while I was finding music to go with this wonderful service, I thought, I have a composer who wrote in the early 20th century, and I'd like to have a more modern UU. And I was thinking, who would this be? And all of a sudden, someone came to my mind who I went to college with. And his name is Cliff Harden, and I think the choir may have done his welcome. Yes, I'm getting a yes over there. Neither of us knew we would end up as UUs, and I had been meaning to reach out to him, and this service gave me the excuse. Because I went online and I looked, and he's written a ton of piano music, and it's like perfect for UU services. The piece I'm playing today is a meditation on the beloved hymn, I Know This Rose Will Open. I know to go along with the meaningful words here, I know my soul will unfurl its wings. So enjoy music of Mary Gregoria, arranged by Cliff Harden.
Thank you again, Barbara, for all you do to bring some wonderful music to the service. Now, please stand and sing Love Will Guide Us, number 131. Thank you, Pierre, for guiding us during our hymns today. Now we're going to extinguish the chalice with the words by J.E. Abernathy, Jr. We affirm that love is our greatest purpose. Accepting one another is the truest form of faithful living. The search for truth is our constant star. We pledge our hearts and minds and hands to challenge injustice with courage, to find hope in times of fear, and to live out our Unitarian Universalist values every day in a beloved community. Thus we do covenant with each other and with all that is sacred in life. And the advantage of being the service associate is I get to change things. I am going to be doing the announcements before the circle song. I know we have several. Eleanor?
Good morning. I would like to take this moment, this opportunity to introduce our new office administrator, Nelwyn Delfrate. And Delfrate. So, yay. Please introduce yourself after the service so that she can start putting names to faces. Thank you.
I believe Sandy has an announcement as well.
I do. I don't have to inspire you because you're all inspired after those 3 wonderful talks, but I will tell you that in the next month or so, we'll be starting our annual giving campaign for pledging for running Summit over the next fiscal year. So on the practical side, you should have already received a reminder of what your current pledge was and how much is left to give for this year. But, you know, please be inspired in thinking of what you can do to support Summit. You know that our expenses will be increasing over the year with the new minister. Just a couple of fun facts. The average pledge from a family is $3,000, and we have members that are pledging over $20,000. Well, not everybody can consider doing anything like that. Please consider being generous. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. I have an announcement about a upcoming concert next month. It goes, join us for a fun evening of Irish music with the wonderful Dennis Gilmore. I actually may be able to convince our daughter Abby to join since she's very proud of her Irish heritage. Dennis discovered his passion for Irish music during his time with Charlie McGowan, and since his love of Irish traditional music was born, he has been involved in many Renaissance fairs and small shows carrying the fine tradition of Irish folk music. The show is March 11th, doors open at 6:30 p.m. and the concert starts at 7. Tickets will be $15. Tickets will also be on sale next Sunday and at the door. And I believe Al has an announcement.
Good morning. Yes, hey, this is what we've all been waiting for. The shelter, which we're going to have the first 2 weeks in April. The sign-up start today, and there's many things, like I say, with the shelter, you know, if you sign up for the event to bring something, you can certainly stay for dinner, and so, like I say, all the guests are tested and inoculated, so it's very safe. We have some people that have spoken already, and hasn't been on there, but we sure appreciate all your help you can give us during those 2 weeks, and so right. So thank you.
Where's the sign up? Al, where's the sign up?
The sign. Hey, hey. Okay, there's sign-up sheets. They're going to be this year. They're going to be, there's a table in the back, and you can take your time and sign up. There's back there, lovely Liz McHugh is back there waiting diligently for your sign-up, and and then later on they moved over to the salon where there's 2 tables with one with first week and one with the second week. So this will be going on until all through every Sunday in March until the shelter starts. So, okay, all right, well. Thank you. Okay. All right, so you did it, yes. Okay.
But wait, there's more. I believe the Caring Committee has an announcement they would like to make.
Used to be a stool underneath there. I thought I'd make myself taller, but so I do believe that love and compassion are at the core of what brings us to Summit. And thank you so much to the members that spoke this morning and talked about that. And Nancy, you kind of elaborated to the Caring Committee a bit, so we have a little preview. I'd just like to read the letter that we used to put out, make available to members regarding the Caring Committee. Since we haven't met in person, or we're just starting to meet after COVID, I just wanted to provide a gentle reminder of how the Caring Committee operates. So I'm just going to read the letter so I don't forget anything. The Summit Caring Committee is a group of volunteers who organize and directly participate in a network of Summit members who supplement the minister's pastoral work by supporting and listening to those in the fellowship who find themselves in need. Services of the committee include the following: coordinating and/or providing transportation to Summit events or for other appointments, coordinating and or providing meals and assistance in times of need, coordinating or helping with shopping or errands, keeping in touch through visits or by phone, sending notes of support at times of birth and death to members and friends, assisting with memorial services, receptions. This is a very important shared ministry in our congregation, and the committee is grateful for all the support given by the Summit members and friends. If you hear that someone in our community is being hospitalized or in crisis, please notify the caring committee. The committee will then take appropriate steps to see that a contact person is named and help is given when needed and wanted. That's very important, when help is needed and wanted by that person. Please do not make requests to the committee or make announcements to the congregation on behalf of someone without their explicit permission. Very important. We all do these things out of love and compassion and concern for each other, but it's really important to respect the privacy of individuals. In an effort to strengthen our ministry and streamline communication, the committee members request that inquiries regarding the health condition of any cemeterian be directed to a member of the caring committee. You will then be given the name of a contact person who will have the latest information on health and help needs. This information will be shared with the congregation as appropriate and only with permission. We all want to help and have the best of intentions. We do. That's what it means to be part of the Summit community. But it's extremely important to respect privacy and allow each other to heal, grieve, and deal with crisis, big and small, in their own way. Thank you all for your caring support of the Summit community. The caring committee, it currently is Janet Dixon, our longtime chair. Thank you, Janet. Myself, Ellen Garner, and Tim Hornaday. Those names you can find in the directory if you need to contact us. Thank you so much. I do not have permission from Rachel to give an update. Well, actually, that's not true. I did talk to her yesterday, and she said she's feeling better, and she would appreciate phone calls or texting. And you need to look for her phone number in the directory. It would not be appropriate for me to, especially since we're on Zoom and these announcements can go beyond the Summit community. So please look in the directory for her number if you would like to call her. Thank you. Yes, calls and text messages she would appreciate, and she is feeling better. And she's very grateful for the people that have reached out to her. But she would like, she's one of the people that specifically said she would like you to touch base with her before making announcements at Summit regarding her in general. Thank you.
As you can tell by the wide variety of announcements, there's a lot going on still at Summit, and I'm looking forward to seeing these things continue to increase. Now, before we stand to do our circle song, I'd just like to ask the congregation, because we will have our community time afterwards, to return to being seated if you plan to stay. And those who want to visit after the service, I just ask that you please leave quietly so that you can talk with your friends outside. Thanks for doing this. And now, our circle song.